of the Underground Railroad, and he guided me in the right direction, and I'm very respectful of him.
I
Anything,
appreciate that.
just yourself.
Well, like I had said earlier, it's a privilege to be able to serve. And when you called, it was an honor that someone would ask for your opinion as it relates to how to do certain things concerning their business. And I appreciate that. I know that sometimes we run into situations where people feel they all that and they don't have time and they don't
Yes,
woo.
yes, sir.
I hope that I never become the type of person that feel I'm all that and I don't have time to serve if someone asks me to be a servant.
Yeah, you took a lot of my telephone calls.
Well,
Thanks.
Yeah, no
Okay.
problem, no
Yeah,
problem.
you know what, Dr. Malik? You know what I need to ask you? We're gonna start with kids, but I can really, almost go anywhere.
Okay.
You had these young kids that are walking around. They think it's cool to walk around with their pants down to their butts and walking around with two earrings in there. What does it stem from, and what's the solution?
Well, I tell you, I don't want to be bogus,
No.
so I don't want to say that it's because they started naked. And because they started naked and without the proper guidance, they go back to nakedness. See, people get things all confused. A kid walking around in his diaper, he's a little behind out, ain't nobody paying no attention. But when the kid get to be 13 and he's still walking around with his behind out, that's because mama stopped paying him attention.
Okay.
So if mama, daddy, grandmama, somebody would pay this little rascal some attention, then when he get 21, he won't be walking around with the crack of his behind showing, thinking that's cool. What happened is because they were not structured into respect for self and society, they walk around looking like heathens. But if you call them what they are and say they should go back to the bush where they can be naked and look just like the gorilla or the baboon, then they say that's inappropriate conversation. No, it's how you acting. It's how you projecting. Now, as it relates to the tattoos and the earrings, well, those were symbols. Once again, there are tribes in different cultures that scarification.
Yes, sir.
So a tattoo is just modern scarification. But back in that day, people knew what the scars represented. Now, a sucker will just put anything on their body and not know. But sometimes you put symbols on your body that works against you. Once again, that's because they don't have supervision and they don't have knowledge and they're so stupid that they just follow whatever they see. Now, I think the earring is something they need to understand. Some of y'all remember when you're talking about kids. I remember, and I know Tucker remember, and I know you remember, and I know Jose remember, and I know Keith remember, and I know boys remember how kids were kicked out of school and their educational career was disrupted. They were suspended because they had an earring.
Yes, sir.
Or they had a tattoo. Well, today, a whole lot of folks got tattoos. They might not be 5-point stars. They might not be 6-point stars. They might not be bunnies and champagne glasses and walking sticks, but they still tattoos, including the police and the judge.
What's the solution?
So, the solution is in the definition and the layout that we were talking about here. The definition is simple. Earring, on the other hand, represented ownership by the slave master. So when you look at what you got and what condition you got and you try to find a solution, well, the solution ain't something that I can speak on because I don't have that problem. My kid is not that kid with his crack showing, but it might be the kid with the tattoo. Now, the bottom line is each parent have to determine the solution for their own kid. And that's the problem. We go around thinking that there's some blanket collective solution. There ain't no damn blanket solution. Ain't nobody sitting here with no magic wand. The solution is that each one teach one. And if you got a dozen, teach the dozen. But if you corrupt, how can you guide your kid? And that's the problem here.
So Michael Jordan shouldn't be the role model. Iverson shouldn't be the role model. Your parents should be that role model.
Well, if your parent is credible. But your parent in this day and time is prison, Department of Correction. That's your parent because you got structure. Your parent used to be the school, but now the school can't do nothing because the teachers are scared. Teacher raise their voice, then the teacher get fired because it's political. So now the parent have to go almost back to the nations of the street. Whereas they have to decide. Since some of these leaders allow themselves to be sucked into this, they pick that up in the penitentiary. Use a lie. Wasn't nobody wearing their drawers down like that because the dude would have been turned out. So don't come out here and you so-called leaders say, well, they coming out of the penitentiary with that. That's foolishness. You're doing this because you're just stupid and ignorant. Anybody in their halfway right mind know you don't walk down the street with your drawers is the only thing we see. Why have on pants if you're going to walk around showing your drawers? Now girls walking around showing all their little stuff. All of them like having tattoos right in the little fold of their behind.
Okay.
So they wear their clothes so you can see that. Well, what are you doing? Where's the solution? The solution is looking in the mirror. You don't take nobody to tell you to pull up your pants. You don't tell nobody to tell you not to put tattoos on your body and you don't know what they are. So don't look for a solution out there. Look for a solution in here.
Okay, you know what, doctor? It's like at night, you know, I drive to work like about 4 o'clock in the morning. And I see all type of prostitutes and broken down pimps out there at 4 o'clock in the morning on 79th and Exchange to 75th and Exchange, where I live at. What would you say to them? To help them to, what's the solution for them? Why would a woman let somebody, some broken down pimp?
Brother, it ain't about that.
Okay.
It's about how you get to the next step.
Okay, how do you get to the next step?
It's about training. It's about what's normal. The pimp might be broken down to us, but he ain't broken down to her. She might be a burnt up hoe, but she ain't broken down to him because she can still make some money. He can still help her get some of the things that somebody else in society don't help her do. And what we do is we judge and we want to determine what other folks should do. Who's to say that the hoe ain't right? Who's to say that the pimp ain't right? Who's to say? Because there are pimps every Sunday in the pulpit. Yeah, I said that. There is a lot of pimps.
They go
the whole system is a pimp. So the position is we look at the sister and the brother that's out on the street that can't get a job, maybe because they didn't get an education, or maybe because they just figured that's how they wanted to do it, and we want to judge. But they on their what? Business. So we need to stop trying to get into other folks' business unless we get in it at the point that it can do some good. But I don't judge the pimp and the hoe no more because my position is simple. That pimp and that hoe made that decision. So I'm not going out here and try to save you. I'm going to just try to live an upright life myself because in the end, the only one, including my kids and grandkids, the only one I can really be sure that the solution that I prescribe is correct. The cure there is my own self. So that hoe, that pimp that everybody talk crazy about serves the judge. Matter of fact, you had somebody almost like a hoe when somebody was in the White House. Serves a need, so all a hoe do, just a slave.
Yes.
She eating and you paying.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
I'm sorry for laughing.
I mean, I told you when you asked me on the show. I told you, brother. Wait, let me just say this. So folks understand. Right. So folks understand. I ain't gonna say what y'all want me to say. Damn that. I'm through with that. I'm gonna say what I wanna say, and what I say since I got a terminal degree is just as valid as any of them little white boys over there at the University of Chicago. So I said that instead of you going around here putting labels on black folks that you see struggling because you done addicted them to substance or other dysfunctional behavior or conditions, don't expect me to sit here and blame them. They've been blamed enough. Now you deal with that.
Okay, Doc.
Not on you, brother. I was just cracking.
I respect that,
right.
Okay. You know what? I want to go to the drug dealer. You know what? Some people are saying that we should legalize drugs. You know what? The cartel. The use of drugs. What do you think drugs should be legalized?
It all depends on the drug.
Okay.
Now, bottom line is this: if somebody got glaucoma, woo, boom, bam, you ought to make that so they can have that without going to the joint. But there's still people doing 50, 60, 100 years of having a joint. So I don't know if that would be fair. But back in the day, not many days ago, a little bit before your time, but when I was a shorty, you had somebody called Al Capone and the rest of them so-called gangsters.
Yes.